Garry, your first day in the job. First of all, just tell us how the first training session went and what you've been trying to get across to the guys today.
Yeah, I think the first thing starts, meeting the players this morning. I spoke to a few of them yesterday. Anyway, so I've got a little bit of an idea of some of the challenges, some of the things that we need to do really, really well. And just get a feel for the group, really, I think is a key thing for me. And then walking in and meeting the players this morning, of course, had the first meeting, which was really about sort of standards and expectations and how we're gonna work and move forward as a team together, and some of the things that we might need to do. Certainly, I tried to be quite clear to the players on what that looks like. And then, of course, the main work's on the training pitch. So I think it's always difficult on a Monday, 2 days after a game, because you can't do as much as you'd like to do. You'd like to be out there for hours working with the players, but of course you have to be mindful of some have played a game on Saturday and probably ran around a little bit more than they would have liked to have done, such as a good side that Leeds are. And so it was about getting some ideas into them in training today. Was mainly sort of about what we want to do when we've got the ball, how we want to try and hurt the opposition, and just building some ideas into that, really. So yeah, it was a good day. The ones that didn't play did a little bit extra, and a little bit of extra competition out there. And so, as you can imagine, sometimes the first day as a manager, the players have a little bit of a zip in their stride, and certainly it was a good session.
For you coming in for your first day, how much preparation goes into that? Are you planning that from the moment that you realise you're going to be coming in as head coach? And tell us about what that looks like from your point of view to prep for your first day.
Yeah, I've been prepping for that first day for about 12 years. because you look at, okay, so what does my first day need to look like for a manager? Of course, you can change the parameters of the message that you send, but essentially the framework of that remains pretty similar, and you move that forward and you evolve it, and there's different ways of doing it depending on the situation that you're going into. But I think that, certainly for me, as soon as I first get contact from a club like this, of course you're watching the games a little bit more keenly. Of course you're trying to have a look at players in their best moments and in the worst moments, and maybe at previous clubs and at this club, and you're trying to sort of get a balance and a reasonable feel for that player. You're trying to understand how maybe the previous head coach worked, so again, some of the challenges that they faced. And then you've got to be authentic, you've got to be yourself, and you've got to make sure that you come in and do the work that I need to do, and that works for me and has worked for me at so many clubs. And I think that's the key to it all. To answer your question, a lot of preparation, a lot of sort of watching footage of the team, trying to pick the right sessions to start the week in the right way, and of course, to add issues to it, we've got games as well to play, and 2 games in fairly quick succession. So of course, again, you have to think about that. So yeah, look, it's all about trying to get the balance right. The balance is never going to be perfect. The work with the team is never going to be perfect, but it gives them an idea to go out there and hopefully, show the right sort of performance on Boxing Day.
In terms of that then, when you've got a game coming up so quickly and you've only got a couple of training sessions as well, how do you find that balance of trying to implement what you want from the group in the long term while also focusing on the potential threats of an opposition that is coming up? Yeah,
I tend look, we'll always be there won't be many teams that will be as prepared. I think most teams prepare in the same way, but certainly we respect every opponent. We know this division's a tough division. Every team has good players, every team has good coaches. And I think you have to do that work. But I also think that sometimes you can take your eye off the ball and be so worried about other teams that you actually forget that you're at home and it's about what your team does predominantly, and making other teams worry about you. So I think that's kind of a message early on. The message early on is like, this is how we want to play. Of course, if it doesn't go to plan, then you have a plan B and a plan C, and it's trying to get some of those messages into the players. I think the first thing you do is the work that we do out on the training pitch. So probably this morning we've managed to probably do about half an hour of quality work in terms of the messaging, and then you back that up with conversations with individual players as well. And tomorrow we'll come in and do something similar. So again, 2 blocks of information, might support that a little bit with some of the meetings we do as well. But again, you can't spend 3 hours out on the training ground with the players, because then they won't have the relevant energy when you come to match day. So it's just finding that little balance along the way. But certainly the players have been very enthusiastic, receptive so far, and I've been pleased with the application this morning outside.
So Boxing Day will be the first opportunity for you to take charge of an Oxford United team. It'll be the first opportunity for the supporters to see what a Garry Rowett's Oxford United team looks like.
Yeah.
What do you hope that the supporters will take away? What do you want your team to show on that game in Boxing Day?
Yeah, I'll always look at the same sort of things. I think we'll be, we'll be very, very organised, out of possession, of course, because I think every team has to be. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to sit and wait for the opposition to play their game. It means that we're going to press at the right time. We're going to try and get on the front foot at the right time. We're going to try and put teams under pressure, which is what we want to try and do. And we'll try and work incredibly hard to maintain that for as long as we can within the game. Hopefully the full 90 odd minutes. And then again, on the ball, it's you want to control the game. You want to have some control of the game. I'm more concerned about creating opportunities and creating goal scoring opportunities and having chances and having shots on goal. I think we're one of the lowest in the division. I think second in the division in terms of shots and chances and XG. So again, we need to change that. And sometimes you have to play forward with quality and precision a little bit quicker at times when the space is there. But no different to any other manager. In an ideal world, I want to control every moment of the game in and out of possession. The reality is you don't do that because you're playing against a good team that wants to do the same. So, flexibility, and we'll see how that works on the first game.
Yeah, and how much, finally, are you just looking forward to actually getting to take charge of a game?
Well, I've got to be honest. I sat in the director's box at Ellen Road, and just before the game, I think the Leeds fans were in full voice, and the atmosphere was electric. And I did sit there for a second and think, get me back on that touchline, because it just brings out that little spirit in you. I think it brings out that excitement in you, and so very much so. I'm looking forward to getting back down there. I'm looking forward to trying to help the players with kind of every ounce of energy I've got for 90 odd minutes, and I hope that the fans will get behind that. I hope the fans will be excited by that. Again, we all want the same thing. We all want the team to be successful and play really well and win lots of games, and in turn they'll enjoy some matches watching their team. I think that's important. It's their team, it's their club, and I think the importance for me is trying to make sure we match what they want to see in a football team.
Garry, thank you very much, and all the best come Boxing Day.
Fabulous, thank you.